Greektown right here.
We're in Greektown now, which technically we're not allowed to call it, but hey.
Oh, that's
which is really
fair
silly.
housing. Yeah.
But
They should probably change the name of Odyssey then too.
Right. One Little Italy.
That wasn't an accident.
Ukrainian village, and let's change them all, right? This guy moving. We're back to restaurants. Everyone knows Greektown, and most of the restaurants here have been established for a while. And my favourite, if not necessarily for the food, but for the location, is Pegasus, which is just up there.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
They have a rooftop there that I don't know. I think it opens in the beginning of June, maybe Memorial Day. Where you have a view of the city, and you can drink cheap white wine and eat grilled calamari and look at the skyline. It's one of my favourite things to do in the West Loop for sure. And then you got your compulsory Irish pub next door to it.
It's Copland in there.
Yeah. And this is the site of Emerald, which is one of the bigger developments to hit the West Loop recently. It's going to be 2 towers, and it's, again, they're actually going to have decent skyline views, which is, you don't see too often in the West Loop. Obviously Skybridge had it. They're kind of insinuating that they're a green building by the name Emerald and all the green marketing. I don't know quite how eco-friendly they are in reality.
I was actually in there last week, and yeah, I mean, I
have a green roof.
As green as they can be, I think.
Right. Let's see, where else should we head? Straight up we can see 740 Fulton, which is nearing completion. I don't know if that's technically West Loop or whether it stretches into another neighbourhood, but
I think west of the expressway, so yeah, it is.
That just creeps in.
By default.
I'd live in that building just to be next to Carnivale, to be honest. So here we have a better view of the new building at 901 Madison. I believe condos are for sale. They've had a pretty good sales record in there. They had a decent model and it seemed to do the trick. And actually it turned out a little better than I thought it would, looking at the scale model and the renderings that I saw before it was built. It's not an eyesore like I thought it would be.
Yeah, concrete floors in there? Or?
Yeah, they call it, it's another soft loft building, yeah, it's concrete. Right here on the right we have the Merritt School of Music, which has only recently been established in the last couple of years. A lot of community meetings are held there. And actually we'll go one more block down here because we're going to be on Sangamon and Adams. And this building to the right is shortly to be demolished. It was UIC property. I believe they used it to make munitions during the Second World War, but it's not particularly practical. So it's going to be turned into a park, apparently this year, which I think in Chicago speak means in the next 3 years. And it's going to incorporate a dog park and stuff, which is kind of needed. It seems that the majority of residents of the West Loop seem to have a dog. It's definitely a dog-friendly area.
Yeah, there's no green space over here aside from Union Park and then
Skinner Park,
Skinner.
And that's pretty much it. You got a little strip by the 290 and by the university.
They fixed up Skinner Park a little bit.
Yeah, they put it. Well, they're putting a dog park in there and a kids park. This is the retail I was talking about. It's now just an Equinox gym. And I guess the area needed a gym in that specific spot. There's a few gyms in the West Loop, but they all seem to be on the perimeter. 1040 West Adams, it's a pretty successful recent conversion, 280 units in there. It's almost hotel-like in its facilities with the movie room and the doorman and the massive lobby. They did a good job on that. Development up there, 1259 West Adams. park to our right. We have the police academy opposite there, which takes up, I think, the full city block. And Skinner Park, it's pretty cool. It's divided into, defined areas, different fields for different sports.
Whitney Young uses some.
Yeah, Whitney Young uses the park for practice. We also have public tennis courts at the end. There's a kids' playground being set up shortly, as well as a fenced-off dog park. The West Town neighbourhood of the M&S runs all the way to, even past Western, but West Loop really, I think, is defined to end at Ashland, pretty much.
Yeah.
And again, this is another one of the bigger loft developments of the last few years at 1500 Monroe. It's developed with a new building called Skytech at 1501 Madison or 6 South Laughlin, depending on what mood you're in.
These are still available, aren't they?
I don't think there's any available for the developer, but they're no, because that was a good 4 or 5 years ago. But there's certainly plenty of reselling.
I mistook that commercial space available sign.
No, it wasn't. Then occasionally I see these developments I've never noticed before. I think you know the West Loop, and then there's some townhomes in here.
I think these go back quite a few years.
Yeah.
6 or 7
But
years.
I haven't ever been in there, so just shows you how much there is. I don't know the numbers on the population of the West Loop. I know there are over 1,000 condos for sale here right now.
Oh, really?
If you would guess that maybe that's 5% of the total. This is Johnny's Ice House. Not too often you can say you've got an ice rink.
Yeah.
In your
right in the middle of
neighbourhood.
this. Yeah.
I've never played a game of ice hockey in my life. We don't have a lot of that in England, but I know a bunch of people who've used it. There's an Italian restaurant there called Jay's Amore, which by all accounts is pretty good. I haven't eaten in there. And then there is this new development called Mode coming, which I only noticed recently. I guess it's going to be on that vacant site. So they build it and they will come, right? And then, of course, the obligatory bank every 3 or 4 blocks. I think the banks open so many branches because they buy the real estate and now they're going to clean up at the end of the day. A little diner over there, the 4 Stars restaurant and lounge. Everyone needs an old style diner to hang out.
They closed?
Yeah, they closed it. That's pretty recent.
I remember reading about that.
Oh, you did?
I believe, yeah.
Feeling loose, decent restaurant. Nice martinis. And Plush, see, this is one big change of recent years, is the newer bars. Plush is only a year or 2 old. Beer Bistro is a year or 2 old. There's another newer one back there. Jerry's is about the best sandwich place in the West Loop for my money. They have so many combinations of sandwiches, it's not true. Hundreds of things. Of course, a neighbourhood has made it when it has a Starbucks.
So they say.
So they say. Whether that's true or not, I don't know.
I would prefer not to have any. That's just me.
Yeah, right.